And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everybody, Kyle here with special guest Jeff George. Say hi, Jeff George.
Hey, how's everybody?
Jeff was nice enough to join us for this quick Q&A here, Patreon exclusive.
I sleep out back. It really wasn't that hard to come in and do this.
He said, wait, I go inside and warm my hands and get some food? All right.
I've slept on much better lawns, though. His has a lot of crabgrass.
A lot of lumps.
What are those bugs that live in there? Grubs. All kinds of stuff. But hey, least I could do is come in and do a video. I've been sleeping out there for years.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. The dogs peeing on you and stuff is just terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Everybody gets thirsty in the heat.
Everyone. But we're here. We're ready to answer some questions. Jeff, feel free to chime in. Some of these you'll say, I don't know anything about it, and you can just make
anything with
up.
music I'm not going to talk about, or anything with action figures I'm not going to talk about, and anything with even talking about slight friendships. No way.
No way. Out. Out. All right, well, we're going to start off with Johnny Utah. With the end of the Jakks license days always fresh in your mind, do you think the quality control issues with Mattel is signaling the end times or just a anomaly?
Ooh, nice Ace Frehley threw out.
Yes, I'm sure that was there for
Ace.
Ace.
Very good, Johnny Utah.
So for me, I don't know if you want to take this, but I'll throw it in there.
You know, I'm going to talk for about, I'll be on hours and hours of talk about it, so you might as well just...
Yeah, I might as well do it real quick, but no, I don't think it's the end, and Jakks didn't really have quality control issues at the end. Look at him, deep learning here.
I'm learning.
Jakks was very smart putting that business hat on. At the very end, they knew about 8-9 months out they were losing the license, and if you're a major company losing the license, you're like, hey, I'm not going to invest anything in this. So at the end of the line, they just dumbed down everything, instead of having decor on pants, it was straight black pants, whatever. They were trying to save as much money as they could as a business, so I understood that.
One slice at a time.
Oh, yeah, the slices left and right. So a lot of people were mad about it, but there wasn't really quality control issues, and there really wasn't many Jakks quality control issues over the years. Just like anything else, they had some from time to time, but nothing like that. So that was an easy one to do. Now, of course, Tim Merritt says, Jeff, what is your favorite guitar to play or go to? And will you ever get Kyle to play on a track?
Well, if I want to have, just signal the end of my career for the rest of my life, I will get Kyle to play on my track because, A, who's going to top it? Nobody. You can never play with anybody again.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, Elton John, done. Rod Stewart, done. Sebastian Bach, done. Kyle, and then where do you go from there? There's no up. There's only down.
That's when you retire. That's when you retire. You go out on a high. You leave them wanting more.
Favorite guitars. So obviously, as a guitar player, you usually have more than one, and you usually have a lot. Kyle's got about 20 down here. Did you ever do a guitar video?
I have. I've played a few times. It's been a while. Yeah, I've done probably 5.
I have to go back. Do you have that cool side view going with the camera?
Yes, that was from the high up crow's nest camera.
Unbelievable.
I wanted to get the detail of my fretwork.
Right.
Of course, you know how it is.
Of course, and we got 6 fingers. I mean, normal cameras can't.
Yeah,
can't
it's an unfair advantage I have.
So obviously, you got to start with the 2 classics. A Fender Stratocaster and a Gibson Les Paul. I'm a Gibson artist, so I tend to play a Les Paul a lot more now, but I love Strats just as much. So that's where it all starts. And then from there, my favorite guitar players played different guitars. So like you take Eddie Van Halen, when I was a kid and I first saw him, playing in like the For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge era, he was using an Ernie Ball Music Man Van Halen guitar, and when I was able to get one of those, of course I thought it would make me sound like Eddie. It didn't quite work, but I just love those guitars so much, and I've been collecting them for a long time. I have about 70 of them now. I have about 250 different guitars, and I love different ones for different things. I love Ibanez Gems because Steve Vai played them, and I was a huge Steve Vai fan. I love Gibson SGs because I was a big AC/DC fan. So
Iommi.
Yep, Iommi as well, and many others. I'm just saying, there's different guitars for different things, and it's weird when you play a different guitar. It kind of brings something different out of you. If you play a old, Martin acoustic, you kind of play differently than maybe you would if you grabbed a Taylor acoustic, who I'm also endorsed by.
And I'm guessing when you get stuck and stumped, and you're kind of like, I'm not feeling this guitar, you switch to something new, and all of a sudden, bam, it feels.
Yeah, you just take the neck off. You take the neck completely off.
Yeah.
and just play the pickup.
The pickup. And I usually get the remote control and a drill, and I put it against there to make noises.
Oh, like a young
Tom Morello.
Paul Gilbert.
Okay, Paul Gilbert. Racer X?
Yes, early Racer X days. He had the pick on there. So yeah, so there's lots of different guitars, and I love them all for different reasons. I don't really think there's any guitar I really dislike.
What about the one up in the bunk bedroom upstairs?
Oh, it does not tune. He was nice enough to put a guitar for me. When he allowed me in the house after year 4, he put a guitar in the room for me to really, make my musical juices get going up there. Does not tune.
No,
tried.
I think we got that at Walmart years ago for Elle's 3rd birthday.
All-time classic to give it to somebody though and be like, tune this up and play something on there for me because it's impossible.
You tune a fish. How about this guitar?
So so I love it. But
and I'm going Telecaster is my favorite.
And there's another one. A Telecaster is like the most honest guitar you can possibly play. There's no hiding behind anything on a Telecaster. And as you know, I've got a ton of Telecasters, and I love them. I love them so much.
Which is fun for me. I'd want to be a Gibson guy. Like the Jakks and stuff like that. Or the Les Paul. That's what I feel I should play, but a Telecaster feels better. I feel like I play better on a Telecaster. It's a weird thing.
Yeah, like I love flying Vs. Not the most comfortable to sit and play, but like my buddy Richie, loves it. He just feels at home with a flying V.
And my buddy Rudolph feels the same way as well.
Yes,
well, of course
Rudolph
he does.
Schenker.
You know my Schenker love. All right. Well, next up, Breaker. Yeah. We have seen a lot of different types of figures return. LJN, Hasbro, Galoob, etc. What is one style of figure you would like to see return in 2025?
Ooh.
I guess, Jeff, if you got any ideas.
I would like the gargoyles to actually make an appearance again. We were living this gargoyle life so hard. I mean, do you remember when my arm started turning?
Yes,
I had an arm that was turning into the skin of a gargoyle.
It was very thick.
And we were going to shoot this video back then, and Kyle's like, you got to cover up your arm. And I'm like, I can't, First of all, too muscular. Second of all, why would you hide something that cool?
Exactly. Goyle life.
But NECA has really been dropping the ball on these goyles. There's like 3 or 4 that are announced.
Literally a year ago at New York Comic Con was the last time they ever mentioned gargoyles.
Cold Stone.
Yep.
Macbeth.
Yep, and there was somebody else.
Sammy Hagar, I think.
Sammy Hagar, the Red Rocker, of course.
But nowhere to be found. So now Mondo's got the license to do something with. So hopefully those
we're gonna live through you.
Badasses over at Mondo who we love. We love those guys, Hector and Peter. Hopefully they're gonna make the best ones ever. So
and I'm gargoyles. Out. I can't do it. I can't do any more gargoyles.
He says, okay, now listen. He owes me probably $300 in bets. I bet him $5 each time he says he's not gonna get a Mondo figure. And then what happens? I call him. Yeah, I ordered it.
I think you owe me at least $5. You owe me $5 back from that $300 because I never ordered the Venom Mondo yet. So there you go.
Only because it's sold out.
No.
Yes, you should have saw this. It's one tear coming down.
No,
and it wasn't the tattooed one that you have there. It was
like
a real one.
It was like the Indian from those old PSA commercials.
Not a lot of people
was.
know that your tears come out blue.
It was strange, like a Smurf.
Yeah.
Who knows? But for me,
what was yours?
I don't want to see any figures return in 2025. I'm over all the retros and the big rubber guy style, LJN style figures. If anything, I'd like to see more lines elite style. So Zombie Sailor's elite line I'd like to see, but man, I'm worn out with nostalgia, which is kind of crazy to see.
You were excited to see Planet of the Apes come back?
No, yeah, but he's talking more wrestling stuff. So no, yeah, but
no, yeah.
No, I wasn't. Yes, I was. But I guess he's looking more wrestling here for me. But as far as other lines outside of wrestling, I'm very excited for Fresh Monkey Fiction with the Cops line. I've been wanting to collect those since I was a little kid.
Fresh
Never
Prince.
had it. Fresh Prince line would be good too. I like that they're doing the old Fresh Prince and the new
Jesse Jeff era.
They're doing both of them together. I think that's going to be good. But I'll say Cops outside of things. I'm very excited to see that. But yeah, I don't know.
Mask, I'd like them to be a little bigger, but I'm liking them.
We'll see what happens with those too. Tim Merritt wants to get at Jeff. What are some toy lines you like from afar but don't collect? Maybe a space issue, money, or not wanting to get into other lines.
Humans, first of all.
Man, called slavery.
Yeah, they take up a ton of room. Kids,
ugh. No, I want full-grown adults.
I know. So, So, Tim, let's see. There's a lot of stuff. Like, okay, so I'm not a huge wrestling guy, but I love the LJNs. So I have all the LJNs loose and mint on card. And I love them so much. But then they came out with the next series, which was, the Galoob series? Or what was the next one?
For LJNs, the Grand Toys?
No, those ones.
Oh, the big rubber guys. Oh, Hasbro's. Okay,
the Hasbro's came out. I love them because I love the cartoon-edicness of them, and I just think they're really fun. But I just haven't been able to go all in on because space is always an issue. And even with multiple houses, space is issues. But I collect a lot of other stuff. Like I'm a huge Kiss collector, huge guitar collector. So Kyle's seen the storage units in California. No fun. I brought him out there to help me clean them out. We both opened the door and closed it right down. No can do.
Nah.
and then we actually went on a toy hunt.
Yeah.
So that's how much work we got done. But there's a lot. I mean, when as you probably know, when you love collecting action figures and stuff like that, it's anything you see, or you see, like, you watch Kyle's videos and you see him talk about something, you're like, ooh, I could get into that. I want to start doing that. But it's dangerous. It's dangerous. So I would say, what do you think one big one is that I've wanted? Probably
Hasbro is the one you talked about recently. That's an expensive one for sure.
Yeah, probably something like that. Because pretty much everything else that I've loved, that I loved when I was a little kid, like, you know, He-Man, Masters of the Universe, Joe's, Transformers. Transformers is a dirty ball game. That's one I've gotten in and out of a ton of times. Star Wars vintage collection maybe would be something I would love to do. Black Series, I've been in and out so many times. The heartache and despair that they've caused me is unbelievable. I've actually sued Black Series over 400 times.
Was Zach Wilde your lawyer?
I had Zach Wilde, and then I also had Henry Rollins, and then Zach De La Rocha from Rage Against the Machine, and Matlock, the original Matlock.
Andy Griffith, of course.
Yes. And
quite the team.
Yeah, and not that new Matlock. That girl, that new girl No.
We know.
And we've lost a lot.
Lost a lot of cases.
You know, you think with that power team, you're gonna win.
And that expensive bill, you think you at least get something.
I know.
You're just throwing money out the window, shoveling it is what you are.
But I love that stuff. I mean, you know, I love Star Wars so much, but I just can't do it anymore. Even though I still end up like getting the HasLabs and getting things like that. But yeah, there's a lot.
And maybe we should do a Burbank Patreon meetup where everybody helps Jeff, and I'll help too. We clean out his storage units for him.
Oh my God!
And we'll make Kool-Aid for everybody. Everybody will Gatorade, whatever drink.
With vodka.
Yeah, of course. It'll be a huge party. We'll do that. Patreon
I don't drink,
invite.
but fuck it, I'll have one.
Yeah, there's one. There you go. All right, next up, Matthew Dodder. Jeff, how did you get started?
MD.
How did you get started in action figure collecting, and what is your favorite modern day line?
This is actually a pretty good one because this ties in with your book. If anybody has Kyle's book, Kyle, do you have a copy here?
I have it right here. Oh,
bring it up.
It's funny how that works.
And if you read the foreword, they probably saw my picture and were like, "Oh God, rip that page out, throw it away."
Where is it? Oh, there you go. Right there.
Right there.
There he is.
There I am.
There he is.
I talk about it because I'd be on tour all the time, and when you're on tour all the time, there's a lot of downtime when you're on trains and planes and automobiles. And instead of like watching or thinking about music when I'd be on tour, I started watching YouTube and just watching, you know, action figure reviews, which would be Kyle's and Pixel Dan's were really the first two that got me going. And it really got me back into it again. So I'd be on the road and I'd be like on eBay buying figures. And one of the first things I got back into was the Matty Collector Masters of the Universe Classics line. And that's really what kickstarted me. I love that Kyle, you know, had the elements of rock and roll, but also his enthusiasm for action figures. So, you know, I owe a lot to him for getting me back into this. I wouldn't be here without him.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Such kind words. And it's got to be a weird feeling if you're like in the Philippines, you're on eBay, you've been here, and you're ordering something, knowing I'm not going to see this probably for like 6 months, a year, whatever.
And the funny thing is, you know, I'm California, Miami, and Detroit, but I would send all the toys to my parents' house in Detroit. My beautiful parents, Dave and Darlene, they're the best. But can you imagine? I'd come home from tour, and there'd be thousands of boxes, and these poor people. I mean, my amazing parents. You know, they would store all this with me, as well as like guitars that are being sent and all this kind of stuff from different companies, you know, endorsement companies and stuff. So I really owe them a lot.
So here's a question for me then. So obviously this had to have happened somewhere. Say you ordered a Star Wars figure off eBay or whatever. You get it 4 months later when you finally get home and it's missing, it's broken or whatever.
No returns.
Yeah, you're screwed.
No. Now most people on eBay now, a year later, they're like, I'm still going to return this.
Of course.
I don't think I've ever returned anything on eBay. Because it's just, I don't know.
I
guess I don't want it to be done to me if I'm selling something on there or something like that. But you would forget. I mean, think about now with like Big Bad and Entertainment Earth. Like, I don't even know what I have coming half the time. It just
It's a
shows up
surprise.
and it's like, oh, I got 17 Reptilaxes. You know, how? You know, oh, I know because I have 4 here, 4 here, 4 here, and all this kind of stuff. So imagine trying to remember that. But that was really the impetus for getting me back into it. So when I'd get off of tour, it was nice because the decompression period was I got to open up all these awesome action figures.
It was like Christmas times 50.
And then that was COVID time too, so that was when I went all in on like Masters of the Universe, and I got every vintage Masters of the Universe mint in box and every Joe, and I just went nuts, completely nuts.
Yep. And then second part, Kyle, what action figure flight stands do you use for Marvel Legends wrestling figures? I don't use a lot of flight stands. For my glamour shots and stuff, I have a Destro Mezco flight stand. Those Mezco ones are really nice. I just reuse that for anything I need, but I don't really have figures on flight stands.
You never even used that human flight stand that you have upstairs.
No, it's out in the
you
backyard now.
Yeah, he's got it, and he's got pictures of him like flying like this on it, and you look great. But I don't know
No
why you have a
green
poster in
screen.
that stuff.
No green screen either.
No, you don't need anything in the back.
Nope, you don't.
Just a beautiful tree and a couple birds flying
That's right.
by.
A couple dogs below. Jack DeFranco for both Kyle and Jeff, since you're both Motu guys. What is your opinion on the Masters Universe movie from the 80s with Dolph Lundgren? Oh, boy. You want me to go first?
Go ahead.
All right. So as a kid, I was very amped up for it. I was very excited for it. And I was so little, I don't think I really kind of understood.
I didn't know of it as a kid, yeah.
It was a weird thing for me because obviously I knew the cartoon, I knew the action figures very well, but then the movie was like, it's He-Man, but it's not He-Man, and I just didn't understand how it all worked and the choices. It was strange. I enjoyed it as a kid, but I remember just thinking, I don't like new characters. Where's Buzz Off? Where's Stratos?
Right.
I remember thinking, like, where is this stuff? And
for me, it was a little later when I first saw it. I think maybe I was like 14 or 15, and I was like, that doesn't look like Beast Man. What the heck is that?
Yep.
Or, I wasn't in it. Plus, at that age, you're not old enough to know what a good actor is. Like, I didn't know Frank Langella was so great. I was just like, that doesn't look like Skeletor.
Yeah.
And who's Gwildor? And why is he giving Courtney Cox the magic key?
Give her
in the back room.
Yeah,
the cosmic
exactly.
key.
Cosmic key.
He was cosmic keying her in the back room. I'm like, what is this all about?
What is going on?
And I didn't like that it took place on Earth. Like, I live here. I don't want to see anything else here.
Yeah, I've seen that because it looked like it was outside of Detroit. Is where it was. I live around here.
And I wanted it to be on Eternia. And then they're talking about that new movie now, and it's the same type of thing where it's like he goes back to Earth and has to get back. It's like, take Earth out of the equation. I want some Eternia.
Just because his mom was from Earth, apparently they feel like they got to bring everything back there. I don't know, but as a kid, I didn't hate it. But then I went through a spell. I sound like my grandma in the '90s where I didn't like it.
You had your slacks on.
I did, of course, my penny loafers.
And you were watching your programs on
my
TV.
programs, of course. My programs are on 100%. That's what my grandma would say. You must have met her. She knows.
Oh, she was a wild ass.
Oh, my programs.
Remember when I'd be out in the hammock naked in the backyard, and she'd come out, Jeff, come in.
Rice Krispies are done. That's exactly right. But
always burnt to a crisp. You can't even chew through them.
Chocolate on top.
But amazing on the inside. Oh, that's what it was. It was the chocolate. It wasn't burnt.
But I liked Blade for that movie. Blade was pretty cool with the whips.
Well, see, that's the thing. So then you get into the action figures. Like, I loved the action figures. I loved Blade. I loved, Gwildor in the action figure. But when I watched the movie, it's about every 2 years I try to rewatch it, and I'm just like,
yeah,
I'm burning inside like a young Kyle Peterson in a broken figure. Same thing.
It's burning up like a young Rob Halford. All right, next up, Rich Hansel. Kyle, when ordering from Ringside Collectibles, they always ask if I want it shipped with the protective case. Would doing it that way save me money, or is it cheaper to buy the cases in bulk? I think it all comes down to shipping at the end of the day, too. But I think shipping them separately would be the better option. But I believe you're closer to Ringside than I am, so you just have to do
Where's
the math.
Rich hailing from these days?
I believe Ohio, and if I'm not mistaken, he's a no good Cincinnati Reds fan. Oh, get that Cincinnati Reds fan out of here.
Oh man,
Oakland A's 1990. We'll never forget. But Rich will always celebrate Eric Davis, and I had a whole mess out there. I don't hold it against him though. I don't.
Charlie Hustle.
Got another one from Rich to Jeff this time. What do you think was the main reason that your game didn't translate from college to the pros?
Don't even get me started. Why do you think I fell into this dirty game of rock and roll? Amazing in college, terrible in the pros. Yeah. And I think what it was is, I started hanging out with one Kyle Peterson after college. And you know what that meant? Drinking, drugs, all kinds of stuff. Arithmetic and math questions. All the things I'm not really all that into. And it showed in my pro game. So after that, I decided I would get, right in. Do you have Rich's address?
Yeah, I'll send you. I'll give you.
Go about there.
Yep, I'll give you.
So, Rich, you're gonna have a present coming from Jeff and Kyle. It'll be in a white powdered substance. You just open the envelope and it's there.
Poof. But the other part of the show, not really. What, in your opinion, is the greatest song ever written? To me, it is probably Leon Russell's A Song for You. I don't know about that one. I don't know about old Leon Russell.
No.
My favorite Leon Russell moment was probably the concert for Bangladesh. One of the greatest concerts
all-time
ever
classics.
for Bangladesh.
Yep.
I can't think of a better concert for Bangladesh.
And they hold a lot of concerts. For
Yeah, they do. And I remember Ravi Shankar at the start of that, of course, really bored the audience with about an hour-long sitar drone on there. It was a little rough. And
Not a sitar, a sitar.
A sitar.
That's when you're really disliking it.
Oh my gosh. So, but yeah, I don't know. Leon's all right. I'm not a big fan of Leon. I mean, he is what he is. You gotta
to
respect
say
Leon
the greatest
Russell.
song ever written, that's a very, very tough one.
It's
we're
very
gonna
subjective.
Yes.
I'd have to
We need
sit
a
and
lot
think.
of time. I mean, is it We Are the World because it took over the world? I mean,
It could be.
is it the biggest selling song of all time?
Yeah,
what
what
is
is
it?
it? It
You know?
could be
Is it Happy Birthday?
It could be Tweeter and the Monkey Man by the Traveling Wilburys. It could be that one. I don't know. I can't even think what.
Is
I don't
it
know.
Oh Holy Night?
Yeah, I guess.
Is it Jingle Bells?
I guess. What is your greatest song ever written? What's your favorite song you ever wrote?
Put it this way: what is the most sang
Happy
song of all
Birthday.
time? Happy Birthday.
Yeah.
So it's got to be
Paul
that.
McCartney owns the publishing on that too.
You say it's his birthday.
No, he owns on the original one. He bought that publishing.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And then sold it to a young Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I don't know
Who then
how-
gave it away to Paris Jackson.
I don't know.
Who then squandered it in a weird I think it was a Pokemon or a Magic game, and it went to Emmanuel Lewis.
Oh.
Who then sold
Legend.
it to Beetlejuice, not the movie guy, the
real
the
Beetlejuice.
real Beetlejuice from Howard Stern,
About 4'2".
which we will be throwing in a picture of the Beetle.
We'll put that in case somebody doesn't know. But
Wearing a robe.
You did sit in at the Michael Jackson funeral. So
I
it brings
was
it all
at
back. He
I was at the
funeral.
Michael Jackson funeral. I was doing some shows with Madonna at the time and got to go to the funeral, and it was very, very sad. I mean, because he's a legend. He's an absolute.
How many
you know,
tears?
Michael Jackson.
You didn't cry.
You
know he died on my birthday. That was a hard day for me. He stole all my
doesn't?
birthday thunder.
Who doesn't?
Farrah Fawcett died that day too. It stole my birthday thunder.
Always a beauty.
And then my boy
Always a
Chris
beauty.
Benoit was my favorite wrestler at the time. He killed his wife and kids and all that on my birthday as well. So
A lot of these wrestlers killing their family members. What's going on?
So I'm thinking about trying it myself.
And here everybody thinks rock and roll is all bad and all this disaster. Have you watched any wrestling lately?
What is your favorite song you've ever wrote? Can you think of one, or they're all your babies? It's one of those answers.
Well, I would probably say Everywhere by Michelle Branch because it was such a huge hit. It went to #1, and it's the theme song of Target right now. So when you're looking for your action figures there...
When you get a case of the sads, you
yeah,
turn
when
yourself
you're looking
around.
for Lino and Monkeyman there, you can just be like, you're everywhere to be.
So that would be your favorite, all right.
I think my favorite that I wrote was Denial with We Are Harlot. It's my favorite song. So
I like...
that we wrote.
I'm drawing a blank now. The one, you know, my favorite one is, don't you? Of Harlot, the music
One
video
More
one.
Night? Oh,
One. Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank.
I can't tell you.
It's the one where you're at the
See how
pageant.
big of a fan he is?
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
just drawn a
The
blank.
one, maybe? The one?
Isn't that what I said?
I think you said One More Night, but
No, I said the one. I
we're
said,
gonna
is it the one?
rewind.
It is the one, right?
Whoa! He was incorrect. Just
No.
from the future, here telling that Kyle, he's got his cue cards down. There's things to say that.
I enjoyed that video. I thought that was an amazing video. One of the best videos.
Some good history on that. We recorded both videos,
back.
Dancing on Nails and the same day. So if you watch those back to back, you'll see that our faces are getting redder and redder throughout the day as we're having a few cocktails.
I would guess the one was filmed second.
And some wild stuff went on afterwards.
Yeah, those chicks in the bikinis. There's one chick that really scares me. Every time I look at her in that video, she really frightens me. And then there's one that's really, really hot. And I'll show you later.
She's from Australia.
Oh, that explains
That
it.
explains
Shout out to the Boomerangs. All right, Johnny Utah. Oh, man.
J.U.'s again?
Oh, man, this is big time now. When are we going to get the Jeff George collection tour? Rumor has it you got a hell of a Motu collection.
We gotta get Big Kyle down to the beautiful state of Michigan. Is it up from? I think we're up from here.
It would be north, yeah.
Up. Northeast from here, and then maybe do one together. See, so I'm a little bit weird about my collection. I am a inbox collector for 99% of everything. I love the artwork. I love looking at the figures. I love all that, but I don't have them out like this. They're all in boxes because I just love the artwork of the boxes so much. But that also takes up a ton of space. So there's, as Kyle knows, there's one room that's all G.I. Joe in the box. There's one room that's all Masters of the Universe in the box.
Safe.
Yeah, and you're out.
And it's tough when you're buying 4 Mondos at a clip.
Yeah, so Mondo, I have 2 to 4 of everything that they've ever done, pretty much. So I have all that. So there's a lot. But I think if you come...
We can do it.
Yep.
I will. Believe me, I will.
God. Sorry.
I will.
Sorry, I do not want that. Green. It's green. But if Kyle comes over, I think we'll go through and open a lot of stuff that maybe we shouldn't have. Kind of like that Motuti Man-at-Arms over there.
We might come for that concert for Elle.
You know
so
I
we'll
will.
See.
For Elle, that's just weird. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it for that. That's freaky.
All right, next question.
Cut. We said we were not going to do any cuts on this, but we may have to do one.
Zero cuts. Rod Schnaver, to you both. I'm a huge 80s metal fan.
Yes.
So out of all the 80s metal bands that came from the strip, what is your favorite band and album by them? Mine is Wasp. Favorite album by them is the 84 self-titled.
Good one.
I'm a little torn on this because I am not a gigantic Sunset Strip fan of that. I mean, I like more of my new wave of British heavy metal, my thrash metal, kind of the anti-scene to that for the most part. But I respect a lot of it. I'm going to either say the first Crew album, maybe, but he brings up a good point. I like the Wasp one, and maybe it's just seeing it there. I'm like, I liked because Wasp had the Sunset Strip vibe, but he also had the dangerous metal vibe as well. So that's not bad. So I'm going to go with either one of those two. And how about you? You're more closely attached to the scene.
I love Dokken. I mean, Dokken was one of the earliest bands.
Easily rocking with Dokken in early
and I love Dokken. I mean, they were a great band, great guitar player in George Lynch. I love Motley Crue. You know, John Fives is a really good friend of mine, you know, playing in Motley Crue. So I love the earlier stuff. I mean, you think about Crue, they really have 3 records. I mean, and that's that, and then that signified the whole thing. But I love all this stuff. I mean, there's a lot of stuff from that hair metal. I mean, I played for Sebastian Bach for years and doing all those great Skid Row songs, but I never considered that. You know, that was '89, I think, the first record.
Yeah.
I never considered that being that since they were from New Jersey. But I love all that stuff. I mean, I love Poison. I love all those bands a lot, you know?
It is weird too. The Sunset Strip stuff, it gets kind of hair metal kind of gets lumped into it. But there's really almost like 3 generations. There's the early stuff, the height stuff, and then the very end of the Tricksters of the world and the Saigon Kicks. And,
right, exactly.
And, that kind of just got in like a week
Great
before.
White, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, White Lion, you know, all that stuff. And that was, you know, New York band. And so the real Sunset Strip, everybody kind of migrated there to do it. And there's a great series right now on Peacock. Yeah.
I haven't seen it though.
That's awesome. So I think it's 5 episodes. I think 3 of the episodes so far, but I love all that stuff. I mean, those guys, some great guitar players through that era, some great singers. I mean, that stuff is no joke to try to sing. So you got to give them love, you know, depending on how you feel about it or what it is. I mean, they were a lot of really great musicians.
And it's really having a renaissance because, I don't know, last decade or whatever it was, people goofing on it. Oh, hair metal, hair metal. But now it is a whole generation's classic rock now. It's like my dad in the 80s listening to the 60s stuff. I mean, it's all came back around.
And just for me, who loved metal and, like, you know, new wave of British heavy metal, I remember when grunge came in, I was like, what is this? Now that stuff's all back again. Some of those guys are my best friends, you know? So, you know, like Jerry Cantrell and all those guys. I mean, I didn't like that stuff at that time, but, you know, and Billy Corgan. You know, I was never a Smashing Pumpkins fan until I, you know, got to know Billy and then sat with him, and he was one of the greatest guitar players and singers I've ever met. I mean, just truly unbelievable. Knew every Beatles song, note for note, top to bottom. So, who knows?
You never know. It's a wild ride.
Did you get blind in Texas?
I did get blind. All right, Max up next. What are some bands or artists you love that are outside the normal style of music you listen to? Oh, there you go. Do you want to go?
Man, I could go on a long. I'll go first.
Right.
A lot. So I love Roxette. If you haven't listened to Roxette, you got to listen to
Take a joyride to your streaming player. Do whatever you got to do right now.
I mean, come on. They're, I think 20 number ones or something like that. You know, the greatest hits. Don't bore us. Get to the chorus. Come on.
You know, honestly, they could be the most underrated band of all time. I'm not a huge fan.
Unbelievable band. Unbelievable.
Everybody knows almost all those songs. They don't realize maybe it's Roxette or something, but I don't know when
Must have been love. I mean, think about movies through that era.
Yeah.
I mean, they were like the song of all these movies, so huge. I love Morris Day and the Time. I love Toto, Steve Lukather, badass guitar player.
Rain Down in Africa.
Yep. I love a lot of old, you know, I guess gangster rap we would have called it, but like NWA, I love NWA. I love a lot of that old stuff. I love Beastie Boys. I love classical music. I'm just not a jazz guy. Jazz, okay, you can play all the wrong notes and call it music. Get out of here. I'm just not a jazz guy. Are you a jazz guy?
No, not at all. He's not sitting in at the local jazz night down at the old speakeasy.
I mean, you could go. You strap on the guitar and just go, just dee and be like, I'm playing. I'm playing outside the box here. Okay,
right.
I like these passing tones. Exactly. I like to hit all the passing tones. Everything, that's like, get out of here with that. Yeah.
Oh my god.
You're playing chords no one's even heard.
I'm inventing here.
It's like these guys don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, you guys don't know.
So I love all kinds of different genres of music, but there's tons of guilty pleasures. I mean, a lot of them.
Here's a question I'll piggyback on. How much does it suck? Because you've been a gun for hire on guitar in the past. And how much does it suck having to play stuff you don't like at all? But I guess as long as the money's green and you need
it's tough.
Yeah.
Luckily for me, I mean, everybody I've played for, I think from Eminem on up through, Rod Stewart, Sebastian, I love those guys, and I love the music and the genius that they had. Like Sebastian is a wild man. He's insane, but that voice is one of a kind. And I remember when we would be playing and I'd be like, oh, maybe we should change the tuning to this. That's not rock and roll. And he would just kill me. He was like, we're not changing it. We're doing it like this, and I love that. I mean, so to play those songs with those guys that did it, but it is very hard to play music if you don't enjoy it. Like, there's been bands that that have been asked to join, and I just didn't really care for the music. And then, I think there just would be somebody better for that than me to go play those things. It is, you want to be able to enjoy it, and it's just part of it.
So for me, outside of my style, a lot of people are shocked, and I talk about it on the channel a lot, but I like old school country.
Yeah, and I love old school country too.
When I was a little kid, both sets of my grandparents would watch the Statler Brothers, TNN, all that stuff.
I grew up on Hee Haw. That's where I learned a lot of
myself as well. And as a time as a little kid, it kind of grated on me a little bit, but it's weird, one of those things that's very nostalgic, and it comes back, and I really enjoyed it. And when I got into college, for some reason, I really got deep into it. Buck Owens and Dangerous Don Rich are just all-time favorites of mine. I like Marty Stewart, a current country guy. I've been around a long time as well. I'm a big Marty Stewart fan. One of the best bands you'll ever see. I love a lot of the old school country stuff. There's a lot of cool stuff in there.
I mean, you watch some of that stuff too. It's one take. There's no multiple takes, and these guys are just cooking. Like it's just flowing through them.
Like some of those Jerry Reed videos and stuff, just absolutely
unbelievable.
Insanity.
Glenn Campbell,
yes.
Unbelievable.
So I love that. And then another one that I've loved forever, and I don't view anything as a guilty pleasure, but people are like, I can't believe you like this. But ABBA, I'm a huge ABBA fan.
Yeah, me too. Huge.
Unbelievable ABBA. I remember seeing them on VH1 and like pop-up videos the first time I ever saw ABBA, and I was like, it was like transfixed. And I absolutely hate the female voice. I hate female singers. And ABBA is the only ones I like, and of course,
they're like all together all the time,
And Jill Janis of Huntress, I've talked about that in the past as well. Those are really the only. I mean, Roxette, I can appreciate stuff, but the only ones I would ever go listen to would be Jill or ABBA. So I love it that my family loves ABBA too. So we always go to the ABBA tribute shows when they come through town and stuff.
Band.
So
unbelievable band.
That's mine.
And I love some new country too. I love Keith Urban. I love Brad Paisley. I love that stuff. And new country is basically rock and roll anyways now. So there's a lot of stuff out there. But ABBA, unbelievable band.
So Xavier Corden asks, seeing how you're a fellow metalhead, what would you say is your favorite non-rock music artist? So it kind of goes into what we were just saying, but is there a favorite artist you like are excited about here? Like a young Dua Lipa. You're like, I can't wait for that new Dua Lipa album.
Did that as well.
So check out Jeff's guitar work on the Dua Lipa album.
Here's a weird one. So I'm in New York a lot, and I always go to Broadway and see plays. And we went and saw, me and my mom, my sister, we went and saw Sleepy Hollow and...
Back to the Future?
No.
Ghostbusters. What's the musical?
No, there was another one. Sorry,
Cats.
this is messing me up. No. But I love a lot of that too. Like I'll find myself listening to the soundtracks of these Broadway plays afterwards. I'm like, God, this is so good.
Like my dad. He does that. He does that too. You guys cut from the same cloth.
So there's a lot of stuff, and it depends on like what I'm feeling too on a plane. Like I might listen to Slayer one play ride, flying in somewhere to see something, and then the next time I might listen to something like a show tune or something like that. It's just different. If you love music, it just affects you on how it does. We were listening to an Iron Maiden tune.
Which one? Bring It On, or which one? The Celt?
Nope, with the keyboards.
Oh, Angel
it's-
and the Gambler.
and we love it. We love it. And,
Oh, yeah.
and of course, nobody in Maiden is playing that keyboard.
We'll never
part,
hear it again.
But it's in there and it's awesome. So,
Oh.
that diehard Iron Maiden fans might be like, this is sacrilege. I love it.
Blaze
I love
Bailey,
it,
I
tune. Yeah,
love.
Blaze coming in hard. There's another Blaze tune that's amazing,
Sign
too.
of the Southern Cross, and then the Klansman. Those are his three.
Not to
underrated.
get confused with Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young version of the Southern
Of
Cross.
course. For me, non-rock artists have to go back to probably country. It's probably Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, Buck Owens. That's probably it, somewhere in there. I'm either heavy metal or country. That's pretty much.
I mean, I even went through a phase where I was listening to Yanni and things like that too. Which I think is called world music. They call it.
yeah, of course, New Age too.
And funny story, the guitar player who was playing with Yanni at the time was playing an Ernie Ball Music Man Van Halen. I saw a picture of him with that. I'm like, this dude must rock. You don't even hear him in the music. But then I was like, went through a Yanni phase.
Oh my gosh.
Who knew? Yeah.
I'm also, I guess it is rock still, but I'm a huge fan of like Cream, Derek and the Dominoes, Paul McCartney and Wings, all the Beatles solo career stuff. I mean, I've heard all of that stuff. That was the foundation I was listening
That's
to.
still rock based.
It is. But that's a lot of people that don't understand that. Yeah, I like all that stuff. They think it's just Slayer, Iron Maiden all the time.
Let's see what's in. Let's look. Let's go into the.
We got one
playlist.
question left.
That's it.
There's one.
The heck.
Until next time.
Nobody likes us.
But Xavier's got another.
We don't
one.
even like us.
And this is a good one to end on because you and
Xavier again.
Yeah.
Come through. The Cordon Bleu.
The Cordon Bleu. This is good because we are going on a 5-hour car trip here this weekend. So this really
the Bee
fits
Gees.
in.
Come on.
Oh, there you go.
Don't even. What do I play at bars every time I
every
take over
time.
the radio?
He takes over the touch tunes and just Bee Gees. That's all we hear.
Night Fever. Night
It's one of those things. After you do this video, I forgot this.
Like a young buzz-off wing.
That's right. All right, Xavier, coming in with the final question here. You're going on a 5-hour car ride.
We're doing it.
One discography needs to be played. Whose do you pick? Bon Jovi or U2? Oh my gosh.
Bonnie Jovi.
Bonnie Jovi.
I'm going Bonnie Raitt Jovi all the way over.
We drive right off the interstate into the ravine and kill ourselves. That's what we do.
I'm going Bonnie Jovi the whole time. A little bit, at least it's got rock and roll. I mean, you got some good guitar playing in there with Richie Sambora, and I mean he's a wild ass too, which is cool. So you got to give it to that. You got Tico in there, the Torres.
Oh my god.
You got to. I mean, you two.
You got
huge
Edge,
band, but you're just
band
kind
with
of
one
like,
name.
You're just kind of like. I don't know. I'm gonna rock more with the Jovi than I am with the
100%.
U2.
That's a tough one for me, but it's definitely Bon Jovi as well.
It's a
I
no-win
think.
situation.
It really is. That's why you just choose death, maybe. But Bon Jovi, I'm just not a fan of most of that music. But U2 is just so preachy, so annoying to me. I was there during the heyday as a little kid on MTV, being played all the time. Same thing with Bon Jovi. It was not for me. It just feels so phony. It feels forced. It feels like there's no heart and soul, and it feels like they're just doing it for the money, which is fine if that's what you want to do. But
They
I'm
both
not
made
eating
a
it.
shit ton.
They did. I think, I think they did. But Bon Jovi, I don't like his figures. I don't like U2's pops I see all the time. I'm not a fan of either, but I'm going to go Bon Jovi if I have to choose. My wife and kids say, well, neither. Whenever you say, what would you choose? They always say, oh, neither. Oh, no, that's not the game. Well, I'm not doing it. I'm not picking. It drives me nuts.
And we had our classic one, which is one for the ages that's been going on since probably before the Earth was even put together.
Probably. Prehistoric.
Judas Priest or Iron Maiden.
Whoa. It's hard.
We both went the same. We're both going Priest.
Priest.
Now, we just saw Maiden 2 days ago.
Yep.
Amazing as always.
Yep.
But that's another no-winner right there
It is.
because they're always together. So when I do like my favorite bands, I always put Priest, Maiden together. They're not. You can't even separate them. And but I'm going Priest. So in the comments, let us know who you guys are going with out of those two. Don't name any other band.
No,
Otherwise,
Priest or Maiden. You can't say Slayer. It's got to be Priest or Maiden. But to me, it's
you can't
Priest
say
as
Menudo
well.
either.
I think
also in your case, you have the very first Ricky Martin chest hair from Menudo.
That's true. I do.
Very rare.
Very rare for Puerto Rico.
Yep.
It's mailed in
And it came curled, and you stretched it out, and I'm like, "You're gonna break it! You're gonna break it!"
Very thick. Very won't break. You
Oh my God!
Tug of war.
You can climb out an upstairs window with that thing, no problem.
But I'm going Priest as well. Priest came first. I got into Priest before Maiden. So it's like, to me, it's always Priest
Sometimes
first.
a little more concise on songs, time. I think the sing-along a little more you're going to do with the Priest.
Yeah, and Priest got those rocking things where you can throw it on at a party. And
You sound like a nice little... They got those rocking things going.
you could have a big old party. You could just get it done. Where Maiden, you throw on the Rhyme of Ancient Mariner. Absolutely love that song.
Do 3 times
We
in the
did.
car yesterday going to dinner with the family.
Yes,
and
it's
they're
amazing.
just like, how long is this song?
Yeah.
13 minutes?
Emma's never seen a song
You're
that
welcome.
long. Yeah, exactly. You thank me later.
Yeah.
But there's that part in the party where it's just like the moody stuff. It's like, you can't be partying to that. As much as I'd like to, you can't. But Free Will Burning, man, you're rocking that fist the whole time.
Also, for some reason, good friend Chris Jericho, who we're going to see tomorrow, a good buddy of ours and mine, and we listened to a lot of Fozzy out of nowhere. Like, we have no idea why. It just was in. Every time we got in the car, it turned down. So we're like, we're going to have to do it. We're going to have to do it for our boy.
We got to hear him do all the covers. And really...
And now I think it's about time to go have one of those vodka. What is the new vodkas he's got?
The grape something.
Grape
seltzer.
18 vodka seltzer. Chris, send 6 cases over immediately.
And I think a lot of those Fozzy covers, I believe, now people say, oh, that's a Fozzy thing. No, that's Iron Maiden. And people are confused now if they were that good. They were that good. Maybe.
Unbelievable.
Maybe.
Unbelievable. But thanks for the questions. I can't wait to do another one.
That's all we got.
Thanks for having me, everybody.
40 minutes. Can you believe that? We could have went on all day.
Well, we're only at 39:05. Do we just talk nonsense for 52 minutes?
We just sit here and time it out.
Let's do this.
Just come on. Well, there it is. We gotta look.
We should have just did itches and scratches.
Look at that. It's like 40 seconds. That's all.
Oh my god.
Time. What is it? It goes slow. It goes fast. You never know what
Somewhere
it's
in time.
There you go.
Time. What is it?
There it is, Jeff. I appreciate you coming over for the Q&A.
Thanks for having me,
today.
everybody.
Until next time, we'll both see you guys all
out on the hunt or
real soon.
or that.